harp as it resonates with you. Just take some quiet breaths in and out. Just allow ourselves to be totally present here this evening, away from all the hustle and bustle and the noise. Reflecting on and marveling on the fact that we have this space. And our collective energies is what makes it a great success when we give and share with each other in this way. It's actually truly healing. So, good evening and thank you. Thank you for indulging me. So welcome everyone, and thank you, Will, again, Director of MMPC, for hosting and putting on, with the support of friends and colleagues, the 9-day empowerment retreat. Will, is there any words that you'd like to share before I get started? Okay, so how's everyone doing? Welcome Beverly, Imani, Marita, Shobit, Tamika. Good to see you on. So this evening we are looking at building resilience. And resilience as people of color, you know, there are times we can feel quite oppressed and frail because of the barrage of experiences we go through day to day. And what a blessing it is actually to be a person of color. And I think we should just take a breath in and just revel in our qualities, our rich heritage, our culture that keeps us grounded despite anybody and any other views, opinions, or prejudices. You know, learning to validate ourselves is truly what builds resilience. And so we're going to look at some breathwork techniques and mindfulness practice this evening that I'm willing will assist us all actually as we go through our day to day. You know, looking at how we hold on to many memories, historical memories, but also more recent memories of racist attacks or racial discrimination. We may even have experienced them personally, or our families and friends and communities around us. And as we know, like that chattering monkey, the mind makes associations every time we connect with one trauma. We could add another association to it, and then it goes on like that, then crystallizing a belief system that we are not good enough, or we have no place here, or we are not worthy. And oftentimes, I'd like you to really reflect on this deeply. There are times we actually exclude ourselves from certain places and spaces because of past experiences. So just take some time to reflect on where have been some of the spaces or places or opportunities as a person of color that we may have actually denied ourselves or missed out on an experience because of the fear of not being welcomed, the fear of not being loved, the fear of perhaps being rejected as a person of color. And let's take a breath in, because sometimes these things can make us want to clench our fists or tighten our muscles automatically as a form of protection. That fight and flight mechanism kicks off within us, keeping us unwell. And so just keep that breath fluid and flowing as we breathe in and we breathe out deeply, starting to release some of that tension that goes along with denying ourselves opportunities and experiences as a result of this racial construct. So the first thing we're going to do is to just reflect. Well, what are the moments? What are the experiences that bring up for us a stress response? It could be fight. It could be flight. It could be freeze, like we're paralyzed and we can't act. I just think over the last few weeks, as a person of color, whether there were any instances, events, which may have called this up for you, where your body got tense because of something you saw, something you heard, something you experienced. And as you bring that up, I just want you to breathe deeply, breathing in and then releasing it, breathing out. Breathing in and then releasing, breathing out. Breathing in and then releasing, breathing out. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are tense. We might be actually in a state of constant tension because we're being triggered each and every day. Then we also have the impact of internalized racism. So not only is this being externally directed towards us, but sometimes we internalize that racism and we may harm ourselves with negative thinking. Mine used to be, why can't I be lighter? Why can't my hair be less curly? Maybe I will fit in then. Reflect on the ways that racism and discrimination may have created thoughts and wrong beliefs that we then may have actually turned against ourselves. We may have wanted to bleach our skin. We may not have gone to certain places because, quote unquote, that's what white people do, that's not for me. It may be that one of our children wanted to be a ballerina and we said, that's not a black thing to do. It may be that we've divided ourselves, even amongst people of color, not realizing that we're essentially one. Allowing the labels of Asian, Caribbean, Latino, African Portuguese, African American, mixed race. And we go on dividing and dividing and dividing rather than unifying in our oneness. So just take a breath in and a long extended breath out as we release some of those beliefs that keep us divided. And as you take in a breath to the count of 3, I want you to hold on to an image of what true belonging means to you. Call up an image in your imagination of what true belonging means to you, and what does it feel like? I want you to repeat the words, I belong. I truly belong. And allow those words to reverberate through your body as you repeat it internally. And yes, the mind might say, yeah, right. Or the mind might say, well, I don't truly belong in this situation or that situation. Just watch the thoughts that come up for you and keep repeating the words, I truly belong. I have a right to belong. I have a right, an entitlement to belong. And allow these words, which are actually vibrations, frequencies, not just words, to penetrate deeply into your being. Healing and soothing, healing and soothing, and repairing some of the damage that others have directed towards us, or some we have directed towards ourselves. And in acts of kindness, be kind to yourself. Carry on loving acts towards yourself. That is the first tool for resilience. Whether that is using your prayer beads, wearing the sawa kameez, sometimes putting on your dashiki, sometimes playing your own Hindi music, Latino music, African drumming, whatever it is that brings you closer to connecting culturally with your heritage. That is a true act of resilience. So take a breath in and a long extended breath out. As you call up the things that you would like to do more of, that you'd like to introduce more into your day-to-day life and routine, that celebrates you as a person of color. Just allow it to come through as you breathe deeply. What are the things that we rejected or felt embarrassed about showing the Western world about our heritage, our culture? I remember going to an Ofsted inspection with my African suit and a look of dismay on the white manager's face. How dare you? And I breathe in and I breathe out, because for a while after I stopped wearing that suit. So reflect on some of the things that we denied ourselves, we rejected, we stopped doing and embracing because of the impact of racism and oppression. And look now at yourself through a mirror. And actually smile. Smile at your brownness. Smile at your little features that make you unique. Smile at your texture of hair. You may have speckles or freckles, little blemishes here and there. But as you breathe in and as you breathe out, smile in loving embrace. As you look at you. Breathing in and breathing out deeply. Breathing in, breathing out deeply. So now we're going to try a technique called breath hold, where we call up an event that we've been quite challenged with around racism or the impact of racism. But I'd like you to hold your breath. Tighten up your tummy area, your lower stomach, for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slowly release, breathing out. So again, you bring that event or situation to mind. You breathe in and you hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. One more time. Call it up. Breathe in, holding your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out. Always remember that we always have a choice of how we respond to a situation. When someone has harmed us, it's a double jeopardy to then go and harm ourselves. So when we can stay resilient and in that moment hold on to the breath, it's an act of courage. It's an act of love. So breathing in to the count of 3 and a long extended breath out. Breathing in and breathing out, really relaxing the shoulders, the toes, the calves, the fingers, the wrists, your jawline, and as though you are stroking your forehead just above the eyebrows. Just visualize yourself stroking from the middle of your eyebrows out, soothing away any tension. That's created as a response to racism or oppression. The next exercise we're going to look at is called box breathing. Box breathing when we're in a situation of challenge. It could be in the community, it could be at work. No one needs to know that you are applying it. But it will be a form of resilience and help you remain anchored in that situation so that you can freely choose how you're going to respond, or if at all, because that too is a choice. So with this, we're going to breathe in to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and hold your breath now for 3. 1, 2, 3. Then breathe out for 3. 1, 2, 3, and hold your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'll help you by counting in as we count together. Breathing in, pushing your lower abdomen down. 1, 2, 3, and hold your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing out as you pull your lower abdomen in. 1, 2, 3, and hold your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in and pushing your lower abdomen down. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing out, pulling your lower abdomen in. 1, 2, 3. Holding your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in, pushing your lower abdomen down. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing out, pulling your lower abdomen in. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath for 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in and hold. Breathing out and hold. 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 And relax. So that was the box breath. Just scan your body. Become aware of how your body's feeling as a result of some of the breathwork activity. I'm going to invite you now just to have an open sharing, reflection of sharing of anything that came up for you during the session. Thank you. Feel free to just unmute yourself and share.
Thank you so much, Imani. That was just so relaxing, calming, and grounding. Really much appreciated. I feel so quiet in myself that I almost don't want to break the silence. You know, that I just want to sustain this kind of level of, of just real calmness, real stillness. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Imani, what I really loved was when you told us to reflect. Can you hear me all right?
Hi, Beverly. It's a little bit faint, but we can hear you, I think. I can hear you.
Oh, hang on. I'll just turn this off then. Because I have external
That's
speakers.
better. That's better.
Yeah. What I really loved is when you told us to reflect on the times where somebody had done something, like you talked about Ofsted. And I used to be an Ofsted inspector, so I could relate to that, and how the look of the manager may actually made you become smaller. And it was so good, because what I was thinking was about all those times that I became smaller. I began to limit myself because of trying to fit into what somebody else wanted of me.
Yes, yes.
And then I began to realize that over the last 10 years, I think God, universe, has been doing a work on me to eradicate all of those learnt behaviors. Yeah. Because I
Powerful.
didn't yeah, because I didn't even want to come tonight, because I've been in a meeting earlier on with Black creatives, and they were going on and on about the Arts Council, and I kept thinking, why are we always looking for somebody to solve something for us? We have the power. And it really wound me up. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can come tonight, but I am so glad I did. So thank you.
We are so blessed that you did. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you. Powerful journey that you're on.
Yes, definitely.
Anyone else would like to share? Shabit?
Firstly, thank you so much. It was so profound, and I absolutely loved it. I have done so many retreats, but this retreat and what I'm experiencing in this retreat is on the next level, I think. Yeah,
Wonderful.
I have been never happy in any other retreat, and I'm so happy I'm doing this retreat with you all. And while you were guiding the meditation, um, I felt like myself was holding me and giving me hugs, and it felt so warm. And I also felt that this body or this me, I can't hold it, or I can't. I can label it as mine, and I thought that I belong to the universe. Uh, it was so lovely. Yeah. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Thank you so much. That's the reality. Hi, Pauline. Would you like to
Nice to
share?
nice to see faces. Thank you for turning it on.
For me, it was very reflective, and then I brought my mind to looking for alternatives. I've been doing African spiritual. I found a fantastic brother teaching ones in London about Yoruba cosmology, and it's been powerful. I found him before lockdown, and it is about what the impact of when your culture has been ripped out of you in your tradition, and something horrific has been placed inside of you that is alien to you. I mean, I don't know my heritage in such a way, which lineage I come from, but it's just trying to find some way. I think sometimes I'm not promoting anything, but sometimes you have to find what the alternatives to you to replace that demon that has been placed in us. I don't want to say that word, but whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it a construct or this a personality, a maladaptive personality they've placed in some of us, and that can destroy us, and it's destroying some of us in a way that, you know, what alternatives can we find? Do we find healing? Do we find connection with each other? Do we find forgiveness? Because it is a work. Like I've done counseling, but it's not complete for me. I have to say that it doesn't give me that completeness or that journey, because I think things are being thrown at us, as particularly for Black women. I have to say that that doesn't resonate with us. So we just have to be mindful of what is thrown at us.
Absolutely, Pauline. Thank you for sharing. We have to find what really resonates for us personally. You know, we actually, when a child, you know, you see a child, how non-biased they are, how they have no prejudice, they have no divisions, they hold hands with each child, and then they learn, don't they? don't talk to so and so, don't play with so and so, and then they start to separate, you know, and so too we have been scarred in that way, you know, and so we're on this journey piecing ourselves together again. But what Shabik was also sharing was we are already interconnected and part of that universe, one verse, universe. And once we practice mindfulness, there's so much power that we can actually experience, so much peace that we can experience just by sometimes connecting with that higher force that is oneness, that is unity, that is peace. Because everything else, it gets denser as we go down and start to separate things and label things, you know? It starts to feel heavy, because what if then we don't belong? But we already belong. We are already part of that one verse, that universe. And so that's why it's so important to repair ourselves, do that healing work every day. It's a daily thing, because to be honest, the onslaught is daily. Psychically, emotionally, mentally, you know.
Yeah.
From the moment you turn the TV on or look at social media or in the workplace, even in our own communities. Sometimes I get told, oh, it's okay for you. You don't experience racism. You're too light. Sometimes, you know, I'm told, oh, you must have Indian or white in you, so therefore you don't belong. Now, do I carry those things, you know, and harm myself further? No. We have to have the tools to remain peaceful and understanding that this is part of the disease. It's an illness. And I'm not going to get sick with carrying it around.
Because it's really funny that you said that, because when another starting point was when you talked about belonging.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, because I've had those experiences that you've spoken of,
Mm-hmm.
and to me, it, you know, when people look at your tribe, for me, my tribe isn't about a color, it's about who resonates with my soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
who's vibrating
sometimes,
at your frequency? Who's vibing
yes,
at the same level as
yeah,
your frequency? Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Because sometimes my own people, our Black people, our Caribbean people, our church people, um, we have harmed each other. We've harmed each other. And it's about not being able to connect with them, but realizing that actually, as Shabbat said, there is a universal connection.
Yeah,
And the
it really
universal
is.
connection is beyond skin color or creed. And people of this world try to make it about skin color and creed and economics and all of those false things which are not correct.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no harm in sometimes culturally aligning yourself with people who share the same lived experience or same, you know, Caribbean history or Asian culture and so on. There's nothing, no harm. What happens though, we can harm our spirit, we can harm ourselves where we're deliberately separating in our hearts from people purely based on external things. Because once we understand that we are essentially nothing, we are essentially no form, that's just the physical. There's much more to us than the physical. So when you then share energies with someone, because they share the same spiritual interests as you, or you're just a loving being and you want to go and share an act of kindness, are you not going to give a white beggar on the street some money because of his skin color? Or are we making an act of kindness because the person's in genuine need? You know, those are the ways that racism and race can actually interfere with our reasoning and our ability to love. So we have to do that healing work on ourselves. We have to do that repair work, else we actually might close off doors of opportunity. Anyone else would like to share?
I'd like to go back to Pauline here.
Pauline.
I like to go, but I know we want acceptance, or we want to talk about belonging, but not to get into debate. But my point was about when culture, you denied your culture, and I'm moving racism from the equation, about how the beauty of your culture, that lost culture and that connection to culture in terms of language and understanding and what it means for our community. And I think sometimes we want to embrace other people. There's nothing wrong. We can't work within our community, work with our children, work with our men first, because that's where the healing starts. We can't.
Yeah.
That's why I think I get a sense we're Black women here, but there's nothing. No one is saying anything about the importance of our culture and the loss of, especially for Caribbean women, what impact this had on us.
Absolutely.
And how we can reconnect, perhaps through African spirituality or something that can give us that wholeness. Because you're walking around like empty, I'm talking about Caribbean women particularly. If you're walking around like an empty vessel, you'll suck up anything, sometimes things that don't really resonate with world journey for that repair. Because I think that's what's been going on the last few years, particularly in our community. And it's not about racism, it's beyond that, it's beyond the construct, it's a higher level. We're not even talking about racism. I know many groups are not even looking at that anymore because it doesn't serve us, because it's not really part of the work that we need to do.
No, you know, you've got a point there, Pauline, in terms of culture and that dislocation, that separation from some of the things that made us strong, that gave us power, you know, to build businesses, to build schools, to build, you know, economies. And there's been a dismantling of that for sure, you know, throughout centuries, throughout history. So yeah, we have to piece those parts of the puzzle together again. And you're right, we cannot really fill anybody else's cup until we fill our own. We have to do the repair work on ourselves first. And this is part of it. This is what this retreat is about, a safe space for us to start doing some of that healing work. Yeah. So thank you all. I mean, I know it's 8 o'clock now. We're going to have to wind down, but thank you very much. Feel free to share some reflections in the chat, and we'll get to read those later. And have a great evening. Tomorrow morning we have Rita Devi Mitra. I think Rita's still on. Going to be doing a wonderful session at 7:15 in the morning. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. So that's going to be tomorrow at 7:15. And then tomorrow evening, we have Natasha Huggins, who's going to be putting together the missing pieces of the jigsaw. So look forward to seeing you all then. Peace and blessings.
Sleep well, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Imani. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.